before, get a chair if you need it, or for balance and stability, or if you can't get into those big squats, you know, you can use like a stool, like a little step stool, or your yoga block stacked up for when we're doing some of our squat mobility exercises. So actually we're going to start standing this morning and having our feet together. All right. And working on good mobility of the whole spine, but definitely encouraging a lot of hip mobility as well. So rolling those shoulders out and get nice and strong into the heels and the toes, right? And spread out those toes and then press a little bit more into the toes than you are into the heels. And inhale, lift up. And exhale, just tuck your chin in as you come down. Beautiful. Let's try that again. Inhaling up. And exhale, tuck the chin down. So we're going to work in our neck mobility, you guys. So we're going to reach up, let that chin come all the way up, and head goes back if you can. And exhale. And one more time. Nice inhale up. And exhale. Good. This time, keep the head in neutral as we reach up. And exhale, fold over the legs. So you're going to hug in through the hips and reach the hands to the ground or to the legs. But come into a nice deep fold at the hips, shifting your weight forward, right into those toes. And as we come up into halfway lift, we inhale, and the hands can be either here, but you lift up the chest, or you can reach your hands back here. As you breathe in, you guys, and breathe out, try that again, nice inhale. And as you exhale, come into your fold again, nice deep fold, and inhale, rise up, rise up, rise up, reaching the head back, chin back, and exhale, bring the hands down into neutral. So we're going to do this little vinyasa flow like that. So toes are grounded, inhale, reach up, exhale, forward fold. Come a little deeper into the hips, let the chest come down a little bit more, lengthen your spine. Halfway lift, reach the hands to the legs or reach them back. Forward fold, come right down. Let your breath be your leader here. Inhale, rise up, open up, lift through the chin. And exhale, bring the hands to the heart this time. Bring it into neutral position. Beautiful. Inhale, reach up one more time. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands to the legs or back. Forward fold, let your breath start out the movement. Inhale, rise up. Nice reach up. And exhale, hands to heart. Beautiful. Now you're going to curl your right heel in. So you're going to activate your hamstring, activate your calf and your foot. So you're going to really start to work into that and bend into the ankle of the standing leg. So you're going to bend right into the ankle of the standing leg and really work into that bend. And squeeze the belly as much as you can, breathing in and breathing out. And then we'll rise up. This is a good one if you need a chair or something. And pull that knee up. Try not to let the knee fade out to the side. Pull it straight up, straight up, straight up. Bring the arms out to the side if you're able to. And cross that right leg over the left. Sit in eagle pose. Right elbow underneath. Come down into a deep squat. As deep as you can go. Hold the knees in the center and your elbows are crossed the best you can. Breathing in, good morning, breathing out. One more time, breathing in and breathing out. And we rise up, unwind the leg and send the leg back. So your right leg's gonna go back and we'll reach up into that crescent lunge. Open up through the hips. Breathing in, breathing out. Drop your back knee to the ground, everybody. Come down with your right knee to the ground. There you go. Reach up super high and see if you can send the hip into a better stretch. And bring your left hand to your left hip and reach that right arm over to the left. Opening up through the psoas and lifting through the belly. For 3 breaths, shoulders relaxed. 2 and 1. Release the hands to the ground. Step your back leg in. Come into your forward fold. Halfway lift. Inhale. Forward fold again. And we rise up. Come all the way up into standing. Head goes back, chin up, and hands to the heart. Now we lift the left knee up in behind us. So you're gonna squeeze your left heel in. So your hamstring is working here, okay? So left heel up, squeeze that left hamstring and bend into your standing ankle. So work into ankle mobility, which will definitely affect the squats. So we wanna try to deepen into the ankle right here. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze that leg. Activate your hamstring. Bring the left knee right up here in front of your chest, right up as high as you can, and make sure the knee doesn't turn out. Bring the arms out to the side. Keep your back from flexing. Keep it nice and long. And cross that left thigh over the right. Sit down into eagle. And cross that left elbow underneath. And sink as deep into your hips as you can without flexing your back. So we breathe in and breathe out. And inhale. You're doing great, you guys. Do your best. And exhale. Rise up. Take that left leg back into a crescent lunge. As deep as you can. Reach up nice and high. Stretch through the belly. Stretch through the waist. Inhale and exhale. Now drop that knee to the ground. There you go. Use your chair to help. Yep. And then open up. And bring your right hand to your right hip or to the floor of the block and lean over and stretch left side body, left waist, left hip. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Release the hands down and step back into a plank position. So we're going to hold a nice strong plank and try in this plank to keep your pelvis steady. So you can do it on your knees. Just try not to wobble around the pelvis. I'm going to practice side plank. So you're going to turn to one side and pick up that top arm or put it on your hip here. And just keep your hips steady. Breathe deeply. And come down and we'll do the other side. So you're going to tip your heels to side 2 and lift up. Inhale and exhale. Coming back into the center, lower all the way down to the ground. Reach the arms out, 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 nice and high, you guys, lifting the arms and the legs. So lift your legs and your arms. Get a really nice lift. Inhale, exhale. Stretch a little higher at your legs and exhale. Slowly release down, bring the hands down and go into child's pose. So we're gonna come back into child's pose, everybody, and really work a deep squat in the hips in our child's pose position. So the hands are wide, fingers are spread wide. Press in through the fingertips and the knuckles. As you press back into the tops of your feet, the front of your ankles get a stretch, the knees and the hips. Now bring the hands right in front of us, okay? So curl the toes right underneath you. Yep. Flex your feet, curl your toes, and we're going to squat back. Oh, it's already starting the squats, right? So we're going to come into as deep a squat as you can. So you can use the chair. You can put the chair in front of you, or you can actually sit in the chair for a bit. But we're going to do a little rocking back and forth into this squat. So you can come forward onto the knees, curl the toes, and then push back into your squat. And try that again, forward. And push back. And one more time, forward and push back. Beautiful. Come forward on the hands and knees, bring the knees right underneath the hips, wrists right underneath the shoulders. Now when we do this stretch right here where we arch the lower back, you guys right here where the hips are is where you're gonna stretch. You're gonna stretch this part, this lower belly part to really come into an arch, rather than stretching from this middle part, even though it looks like this is stretching and it does go with it. You want to encourage the stretch at that low part of the belly, like really, really stretch it down to the floor, really open up the chest, shoulders are back as you breathe in and breathe out. And as we come into this up dog, cat stretch, sorry, you're going to stretch the upper part of your back. So we separate the shoulder blades, draw the belly in, maybe push a little forward to the fingertips, maybe push a little back. And then we come into neutral. So everyone come into a flat back, nice straight spine, and move your hips and your head and your neck to one side at the same side. And then move your hips and your head and your neck to the other side. So we're going to be moving the pelvis one way and the pelvis the other way. And do that a couple times. Pelvis one way and the other way. Beautiful. Release it into neutral position and take that right leg up and out. We're opening up the hip, stretching the lower belly, and taking your opposite arm out. So lift your arm, everybody. Lift your leg higher. Breathing in and breathing out. Lift your arm and your leg higher. Inhale and exhale. Slowly lower that down, and we'll do the same on the other side. So we're going to stretch out that left leg, opposite arm. Feel that lower belly get a stretch, and lift the leg and the arm higher. As you inhale and exhale, breathing in and breathing out. Beautiful. Release the hands down. Let's go into downward facing dog. Now, as we come into downward facing dog, work out your ankle flexibility. So I want you guys to look at your ankle creases, see them fold a little deeper, and just pedal out your heels. And then see if you can press both heels down, lift your sits bones high, draw the belly in, open your shoulders, and let your head and your neck relax. Take a few moments here to do that. Let your head hang super, super heavy. So as you breathe in and out, your legs are strong as if you're standing on your feet. Your fingers are strong, and you're dropping your head like you're dropping a bowling ball. Just let it plunk. And breathing in, breathing out, doing good. Breathing in and breathing out. And we slowly come down onto the knees, and we'll crisscross the ankles and stretch your legs out in front of you. And this is a good exercise. We did it in the other class the other day in the other video for hip mobility. So your hands are back, your feet are going to be wide. And what you're going to do is roll your pelvis and your thigh right to left. Roll your pelvis and your thigh right to left. So keeping the hips mobile, keeping the pelvis mobile, keeping the back mobile. Very, very good to do. But on this one, you're rolling your pelvis and your thigh. Awesome. One more time. Now what you're going to try to do is hold your pelvis steady and roll just your thigh in. So it's a little different, and you're not going to have as much range. You're just trying to roll just your thigh in. And just keep trying to roll it without moving the pelvis. And we go for 4, 3, I'm working on my mobility there, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Bring the bottoms of your feet together, roll the hips out, lifting through the chest, inhaling and exhaling. One more time, you guys. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. Bring those legs in and squeeze the knees in super tight. So you're going to hold your knees from flaring out to the side. You're going to hug those hip flexors, pull your belly in, and let that forehead rest on your knees. So we're breathing in and breathing out. And again, we're going to work into our squat section next. So this is one where you'd either be squatting on the ground, in a chair, or squatting on your yoga blocks or holding on to something if you prefer. So what we're going to do is open up your feet and shift your weight forward. So you're coming into squat. You're going to turn your toes out and just work your distance. So you can be in a chair doing this next mobility exercise, or sitting on the blocks if you want to, or like I said, holding onto a coffee table or something like that if that helps you. We're trying to get the heels down. So I want you guys to rock back into your heels and then walk forward onto your toes. So you're coming into the front of your feet. Try that again. Rock back into your heels and rock forward under your toes. And one more time, you guys, back into your heels and forward on your toes. Now you're going to rock back into your heels, and you can do this again, holding on to something. You're going to roll, see if you can roll your pelvis in. And again, if you're sitting in a chair doing this, you can do it. If it's a little too much for you, you can come up, or you can sit back on the floor and do the one we just did on the floor, okay, without being in a squat. 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to reach the arms up and come up into standing. Woohoo! Yes. Shake out those hips a little bit. So you're going to turn those toes a little bit inward. Outward's okay. Shift into your toes here. Reach the arms out. Sit down into your heels. So again, if you're sitting in a chair or a stool, you're going to come down into your heels anyway. So you sit into your heels as low as you can. And from here, you shift a little right and a little left, and you keep working right and left. And one more time. Stay right in the middle. Press in through your heels as you rise up. Shift onto your toes and lift up onto your toes. Come down into your heels. Reach out. We'll do it one more time. Sit back into your heels. As low as you can go. Keep your back up straight if you can. Shift right and left. 3, 2, and 1. Come into the center. Rise up. Woo! That was our little squat series. Bring your feet together. Woohoo! Glad that's over. Inhaling up. Reaching the hands back. Open up the chest and lift the chin. Stretch the upper part of your chest and your collarbone. Pull the elbows back. Even more, you guys. 3 breaths. 2 and 1. And as we come forward, come into your fold and stretch the base of your skull away from the back of your neck. Let your shoulders come into your back. Feel the stretch at the base of your skull. So find that bony protrusion where the skull kind of sticks out and try to stretch that point. As you come down a little bit more. 2 and 1. Beautiful. Release the hands down to the ground and step back into your plank position again. So strong, strong core. As you maintain your strong pelvis, keep the hips strong. You lower down to the ground, right down to your mat. Elbows are in, tops of your feet have a good extension and stretch. So really stretch out the shins and lifting up the chest, lifting up the belly. Reach the shoulders back into a really nice stretch here. I'm going to exhale into downward facing dog. So we reach back into downward dog and we open up the outer shoulders. So I want you guys to stretch your outer shoulders, the heels, all that good stuff. Our right leg comes up to the sky. So you're going to lift up your right leg, bend your knee, and don't twist your standing leg. Your left leg should not twist, but your body can turn and twist a little. Your hip is going to open. You're breathing in, breathing out. Keep your shoulders from twisting, but you can twist your waist and all that good stuff. And then squeeze the knee into your chest, hug it in for a little hip flexor, and step your foot forward. So push off the other leg, ground your back foot, and rise up into warrior 2. Ah, yeah. Come down into your hip opener, breathing deeply, and then reaching through. So right arm over, left arm through, stretch through the shoulder. Inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Rise up, open up into triangle pose. So as we come into this triangle pose, guys, I'm going to draw the belly strong, extend this side of your waist. Try not to collapse it, so we stretch open as much as we can. Bring the arm down, take this top arm up, and move your head backwards more and bring your hand behind your back and rotate back a little bit more. So you draw the navel in, you're stretching at the pelvis, the torso as a stretch, your inner thighs feel some tone. Breathing in, breathing out. Keep your hand there as you rise up. Keep your hand there. Extend into that warrior 2 and bring this right arm behind your back and either press your hands toward each other against your back or link up your fingers. And so you come down into this and lean as deeply as you can. You guys push that elbow back, open up the shoulder, and use your head here. Push your head back more too as you draw your belly in. Squeeze the buttocks. 2 and 1. Beautiful. Unwind, open up, keep the knee bent, and come down into side angle. And here, you guys, really encourage this hip mobility. Come as down as deep as you can. Stretch up at the shoulder and the chest. Roll your head back. From here, we're going to go to Skandasana lunge. So you just shift over into this lunge, flex this foot, and come down as deep as you can. So you can turn the toes here if you want to. Come down into your squat. Squat, squat, squat. So again, you can be in a chair. You can hold your hands up at the chair. Like if you have a chair in front of you, your hands will be on it, or anchor into something, or just keep your hands on the block or whatever works. But stretch this inner thigh. See if you are able to lift up your chest and sink down into that heel. As you breathe in, breathe out, pull your legs a little more, chest higher. and breathe out. Use your hands if you need to rise up, turn to the front, come into plank again. All right, so open up your hips, keep the pelvis strong. Come on down. Inhale into upward facing dog. Get that really nice stretch. Open your hips. Exhale into downward dog. Whew. Beautiful job. So let's take out that left leg, pick it up. Right leg does not turn. Bend the left knee in the air. Open up your left hip. So you can twist the body a little bit or a lot. Just don't twist the leg on the ground. Keep your legs straight and steady as you breathe in and breathe out. And then you'll squeeze that knee into the chest and step it forward. So round your back leg, come into that warrior two, open up. So again, we're rolling out at the hip, coming down, and then we send the right arm through and that left arm over, and we keep pulling through the hip, through the belly, stretching maybe the side of the waist and the psoas muscle as you breathe in and breathe out. I love it. Rise up, straighten out your leg for triangle pose. So make sure you guys have the strength inside the hip. And as we reach out, this is nice and long. You pull, you pull, you pull, and you keep lengthening here as you bring the hand down. And this top arm's gonna go behind your back. So you're gonna roll back at the shoulder, move your head toward the wall behind you. You're gonna lift your chin up and over that shoulder that is up in the air, and you're breathing and breathing out. So keep guiding that shoulder, the chin beyond the shoulder, and keep the hand as it is as you rise up for warrior two. So you're gonna come into this warrior two. Yep, take the left arm all the way back. Maybe join your hands or maybe just press them. But come down deep into the stretch, pull the elbow back, squeeze the shoulder, and breathe. Inhale to exhale. Open up for side angle stretch. So we open up, we come into our side angle stretch, and we come down as deep as you can into your hip. And the top arm can reach over the head or straight up, whatever feels good for your shoulder, for your back, for your spine. Just stretching as deep as you can. And from here, Skandasana. So you just change over to that other leg. You flex your foot and you're squatting deep into that hip. And again, this side's gonna feel different than the other. Just do your best to feel that hip opener as you inhale. And exhale, try to feel more stretch, you guys. Inhale and exhale, lifting up. And then we'll come back to the front of your mat and step into plank one more time. So we're gonna come right into your plank. Hold a strong pelvis. From this position, go to side plank. So you're gonna tip over to one side. Doesn't matter which side, because we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Take your top foot right in front of you, and you're rolling this in. So you're trying to stretch out the glute and the hip here, and you're moving this mobility where you feel like it's an inner thigh or rotating inward as you lift up. So you're stretching out these muscles at the glute, at the hamstring, at the outer thigh a little bit. Breathing in and breathing out. Keep pushing into that stretch. And up. Beautiful. Release it back into plank, and we'll try the other side. So I'm going to turn with you guys, but you're going to lift up to side two. Side plank, pelvis is steady. Take your top foot right in front, as high as you can in front of your hip. Internally rotate. So you're rotating this leg in as you lift up. And you're really getting that nice stretch at the hip. Keep feeling that release at the buttock, that glute, hamstring, sit bone area. Keep rotating it inward. 2 and 1. Beautiful job, you guys. Come right down to plank, dropping the knees, open your knees, sit back into child's pose. And inhale, exhale. Beautiful. Let's come forward into extended puppy. So the knees come in, arms are gonna come out. All right, looks good. Everyone's gonna get the stretch right here at the outer shoulder. So we do this by bringing the elbows down and stretching your elbows away from your armpits. Pull your armpits back and down at the same time. So shrug down. And your chin can be pointing towards your elbows if you want to. You'll feel a little more upper back when you do that. As you inhale, and exhale. And one more time, you guys. Inhale and exhale. Let's come down on the belly. We're going to give those hips a little break to do a quick little shoulder one. I love this shoulder one. It's really good for this upper back. But we really do want to do it properly. So you take your right arm out to the side and you lift your shoulder up. It's on the floor like this, but you lift your shoulder up from the floor. Don't let your shoulder roll down. So you pull the shoulder behind the chest and get your chest on the floor. Turn your thumb to the sky or maybe backwards as you lift the left side of your body over. So I'm going to come and see if I can see you guys doing that one. We've done this one before, that shoulder stretch. Right, so right arm is out to the side, not up over your head, and your thumb is upward and backward, and the shoulder is back. And your left leg can go all the way over and like bend it and put it on the floor, and your left arm can go up in the air, just as long as you keep your right chest pushing out toward the floor and you keep squeezing that right shoulder back more. You'll feel the strength building in your upper back, and it'll feel really good. I can only see a couple of you guys, but I'm sure you're doing great, the rest of you. Let's come down and try the other side. So we'll come right down here in the belly and do the same on the other side. So the arm is straight out to the side, thumb is up, shoulder is back, and we're lifting the right side, and you stick that left chest forward and squeezing open that left shoulder. Your head can be down and back. Your top arm can come up and behind if you want to, and you can build a little bit more strength in that top arm and open up the chest a little bit better. Breathing in and out. One more time, you guys. Breathing in and breathing out. So good. Let's come right on the belly. Nice. Little more upper back because I love to work this right here. So if you guys come on the belly, your feet are grounded and you're going to pull your shoulders back and the chin is going to be in. So try not to do this with the chin. Draw the chin in nice and long and pull the shoulders back. You can use your hands to pull or just pull on your own. Keeping the shoulders back, reach the arms back and lift. Sometimes we'll do this and we'll drop the shoulders down so we can get the arms higher. And we really want to encourage the shoulders to be back and lifted and lift the arms. So see if you can find that in yourself, if you're dropping the shoulders down or are you really lifting them and then really working your strength properly. Again, the mobility can be challenging to get, but it's really easy to maintain once you get it. So keep pushing the shoulders back and reaching and then joining your hands together. Now, when you join, your shoulders might roll forward again. So, but that's okay. Just join and then use your fist here to lift the shoulders right here, open and behind your chest, right? Or just open and back a little bit more. So the shoulder blades come down the back and you start to lift the chest more and you pull your hands to your feet. Chin is tucked in slightly. 2 more breaths and 1. Woohoo! Let that all go. Come on up and we're going to work into pigeon pose. Yeah, because what's a good hip opener without pigeon pose? I'm going to give you guys some options. If you're not doing pigeon pose like this, you can of course do it on your back. However, if you can do it like this, you would have your right knee bent and your right foot next to your left hip or in front of your left hip. And you can also do this. You can put the block under your hip. If your butt's all the way up in the air, you can do that, okay? So what I want you guys to do is roll to, this is your right knee. So roll to your left hip, and put your left hip on the ground. So your left elbow is gonna come down. Your left elbow comes down. So you're looking at your knee that's in front of you. And you keep rolling to your left hip. Now, if your left hip is not on the ground, it's just your left thigh, I want you to put your hand there and just feel where your pelvis is and the hip and try to move the left hip more. So if the left hip is not on the ground yet, that's what you're going to work on. If your left hip is on the ground, what you can do is bend the back knee and grab your foot. Now, of course, I'm not going to tell you don't do it if the hip's not on the ground, but you really should be working on the hip getting to the ground as you do it. Now, sometimes if you grab your foot, it'll help you to push the hip to the ground more, so you can totally do that, right? But you want to keep leaning your weight so that that hip, and if your heel's in front of the hip, maybe you're gonna feel the hip on the heel, and that's fine too. Okay, so you just wanna keep getting into the stretch of the hip and moving that hip a little closer to the ground, and you're stretching your shoulder too. Bonus points, breathing deeply, stretching the belly, and then letting that go. Woo! Love it, you guys. All right, let's push up. Let's try the other side. Awesome. Shake out the back. So let's try side two. We'll have the left knee up and out, left heel to right hip, block under the hip. I'm just going to say go for it. You know, if your hip's even slightly elevated, or if you're over to the side like this and this hip's way up in the air like this, that's what we're going to work on. It's possible you can get down there. You just got to take some time and do these videos every day, these hip videos. So as you guys are rolling that right hip to the floor, your right elbow is going to start to come down, and you're going to notice one hip has more mobility than the other. So you keep moving your hip to the floor or to the foot. And again, once the hip is down there, or even if it's pretty close and you want to bend your knee and get that quad stretch, go ahead and do that. Just don't let your hip rise. Sometimes we'll do that. We'll pick the hip up. So sink the hip as you're stretching, rolling the shoulder back a little more. 2 more breaths, you guys. And 1. Beautiful. So to come out of this, we're going to come back onto the back. Just roll into seated and swing that leg around. Bring your knees in together. And when you come on the back, maybe you have the blocks and the straps right next to you so that we can do some of our stuff without having to get up and reach for it, right? Some of the stuff on the back. So you're going to bring the knees into the chest and clasp your fingers, if you can, around the shin of the right leg. If you can't do that, grab the back of your thigh, but slide the left leg out. And you're going to squeeze the left knee in and bring the knee in toward the opposite shoulder. And you want to try to hold your pelvis steady and just roll in from the thigh, the hip, as you breathe in and breathe out. All right, we're going to let that go and try the other side. Good job. All right, well done, you guys. Bringing the left shin in, right leg comes out, right leg nice and strong. And again, don't let the knee fade out. You want to hug it in, let the shoulders relax. And keeping your pelvis steady, try to draw the knee toward the opposite shoulder. So a little bit of an internal rotation. You're not slanting your pelvis. You're trying your best to have it happen at the hip. All right. So on the back here, again, continuing our mobility. I'm just going to move my block so you can see. Knees are going to be bent and the feet are going to be wide. And just like we did seated at the beginning, you're going to roll your thighs in, but you're going to let your pelvis turn. And you'll notice that when the pelvis turns, the knee can come down a little bit more. So you're just going to do a few of those, just recognizing that pelvic mobility. And then you're going to hold your pelvis steady so the pelvis doesn't turn, and it's just your thigh rolling in, just your thigh. So this is that mobility at the hip joint rather than at the pelvis and the SI joint in the low back, right? So just try a couple more, 1 more on each side, rolling it in deep, getting that knee toward the floor. Yay. All right, bring your feet in. Take your right knee into your chest. Hold it in. Your left foot is going to be flat. Heel is down. Shoulders back. Head is in the center. You're going to lift up your left hip while you squeeze the right knee into the chest. So you're going to lift your booty up off the ground, and you're going to pulse it up there for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release that down. Drop the right. Grab hold of the left. Hold that in. Press in through that right heel. Lift up the booty. Right knee stays in the chest. And we're going to push up that hip for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Slowly release that down. And use the yoga strap for your IT band stretch and outer thigh stretch. So I'm going to do a quick little just location of the muscle, right, for you guys to identify hopefully a little bit better. Ankle, knee, hip alignment here. And right here at the rim of the hip where the sitting bone is and the glute there, the hamstring, the higher part of the buttock and the deep buttock, try to let those rotate inward and keep your pelvis from lifting. So just like we did those mobility exercises where it was just the thigh, that's what this is. Hold your pelvis on the ground. This is core work. And bring the leg into this internal rotation and across the body. So your other leg doesn't turn, your pelvis doesn't turn, and you do use your fingers here to grip and hold on to that foot so that you pull the leg closer to you. You turn your foot, and it's an inward rotation. The joint of the hip, try not to slant your tailbone, slant your pelvis. Don't let that slide. You're going to keep that low belly nice and active. And you're going to pulse and pull that leg down for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and release that. Roll the ankle. Try side 2. Okay. So strap comes up here. This one's going to either be better or worse, but it doesn't really matter. You're still going to do it the same, right? Ankle, knee, hip mobility, alignment rather. Locate those muscles in the buttocks that are kind of rotating around or releasing. Your pelvis is long and steady. Opposite arm holds. As you bring it across, you're getting a little spin. So it could be like the outer hamstring that's restricting you. It could be a muscle in the glute. It could be anything, right? So, and you also have your hip flexor that helps strengthening the hip flexor, which is a turn inward, right? So you just don't let your pelvis lift or slant or rock around. You're trying to really focus on rotating the thigh inward and using your hand here to pull the foot toward you and toward the floor, and little pulses here for 8, 7, keep that mobility, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Woo, yeah. All right. So we're going to do a little spine while we're on the back, little spine motion. Some of you guys can do it without the block. Some of you guys like the block, right? So you'll scoot the block, or you can start with the block, getting the chin up in neutral and elevating your legs. Hollow out your belly, or, suck it in. Squeeze in those hips and lifting your lower back. Shoulders down the back so your chest stays open, and you're stretching your toes to the floor over your head. So stretching your toes to the floor over your head. And we're inhaling and exhaling. Do your best to try to keep your upper back toward the floor. So some of you guys who are on your neck, I want you to come off of your neck. This is tricky. It's hard for me to get over there and put my hands on you, right? But I want you to pull your upper back or chest a little bit more to the floor, so that you can curl through the torso, right? So you can curl and the abs are working here. Now hold your hands at your upper back and lift the right leg up. Yep, straight up. That left leg stays down. And then we'll do a switch. Drop the right leg over the head and bringing that other one up. So you're pulling the legs in opposition. Beautiful. Bring both knees to your forehead when you're ready. Both knees tuck in and rolling yourself down for fish pose. So as we come into fish pose, you bring your elbows underneath you. So you roll down flat, elbows underneath you, palms are down. You're going to stretch open the shoulders. So right at that upper back, right? The chest spreads. So think of your collarbone really spreading. And lift from the collarbone. Try to push up from the collarbone and that upper chest and letting the chin go back and the forehead rest. Now again, if that's too much, you just stretch up as much as you can. You don't have to go all the way into this position. Just stretch the lower belly. So if that's too much and you want to just be here like this, that's totally fine, right? And working into your mobility, or if it makes you dizzy, I wouldn't do it either. And just breathing in and breathing out. Let the collarbone stretch more. Open your throat. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful job, you guys. All right, let's release, flatten out, take a few breaths there before you come up to seated. Okay, and we're going to do one more hip mobility. Yeah, another one. And this one's going to be the right knee is turned out and the left knee is turned in like that, okay? Now, if this doesn't feel good, you can do a couple things. You can put a block under your hips, or you can just straighten out the leg. I would try the block under the hips because we're going to lay backwards. So I would try the block under the hips before you go into straightening out. But again, if you feel anything in the knee, I wouldn't do it, okay? So once you guys feel like, okay, you got this, this is that internal rotation of this leg, and you're starting to lay back down. So you're starting to roll back and working into that internal rotation. Again, block under your hip if you want to, or just kind of scoot the booty up a little bit. But if you can flatten out your pelvis to the floor, flatten out your belly, flatten out your chest, you're going to go for it. You're going to keep that knee stretching inward and downward. This stretches that long muscle at the front of your thigh, goes into the inside of your knee and the outside of this hip. And just keep really getting that good stretch. Again, if you want to come all the way down and you come down, the knee pops up. You can use your other foot to hold it down, or just keep using your hand to try to get the pelvis and the back to the ground as you stretch in through the leg, inside the knee, and continue to gain your mobility at your hip. And then when you're ready, bring yourself back up and change your legs. Woo! So you can just swivel over or change however you want to change. All right, so I'm going to keep stressing, don't hurt your knee. Because I do later on have people say, well, I did the stretch Lorella, but it really was killing my knee the whole time. And I'm like, don't do that, right? Just do something or get out of it altogether, okay? You definitely want to make sure that you're not turning your pelvis, right? So your pelvis on this one is neutral. You're rotating your thigh in. And again, prop up if you need to prop up. So if you want, oops, I'm going to turn this way for you guys. And then if you're coming back down, you're going to go for it. You're going to start to come back down. And again, when you have that restriction, it'll keep your pelvis kind of forward. So you're working your pelvis toward the floor, right? You're getting your pelvis neutral and keep trying to get that to come down. So you'll note, like I have a restriction and an injury on this left side. So my back isn't really coming down hardly at all. So, but I'm working on encouraging that internal rotation without hurting myself and pulling down. Because you can get these like little micro tears that will heal. It'll increase your range, but you don't want to do that. You know, you want to just feel a good stretch. And if it means that on this side I'm up and the other side I'm down, that's where I'm going to be. But I'm keep feeling a stretch. I keep encouraging that motion and trying to increase my mobility there. So breathing in and breathing out. And yes, it hurts. It hurts me. It's painful, but I'm doing it, right? Because I'm doing my yoga breathing. 2 more breaths. And 1. Beautiful. Let's come on up and release. So when we do the live classes, which we're going to be going toward, and if you can come, I also do the Tuesday and Thursday night at 5:30 outdoor live classes. If you come to those, I generally will have you guys hang out in your tighter side. And it's good because I can get feedback from you guys in live classes when we're, in that group like that. So, it's nice to come to those. But I'm saying that if you found one side in that, if you found that to be a really good stretch for you and you found one side was tighter, just do the tighter side. Don't do the side that's flexible already. Just spend extra time on your tighter side. So we're going to cross the right leg over the left. And the left leg is going to be straight. We're hugging this in. And we're inhaling, exhaling. And as we come into the rotation, just for a moment, humor me. Make this more of an internal rotation here at your leg than it is a twist at your back. Okay, we are going to be twisting the back. You are going to feel like you're rotating the back. But I really want to encourage it from here more than anywhere else. So you lift up your spine and you're rotating this leg in. And then you lift up the lower back. And you don't turn your pelvis, you keep your pelvis neutral, but you rotate at the base of your spine as you breathe in and breathe out. Squeeze the inner thigh a little bit more inside of hip, and then let that go. So good. Let's try the other side. And again, same thing with any of the stretches we do. One side, it feels like it needs it more. Just spend more time on that side, okay? And I know from personal experience that it's like nobody wants to stretch the tighter side, right? The flexible side is so much more fun, right? You're like, I love to stay in that stretch. The other one, you're like, not so much. But it's very necessary and you'll feel better, right? So it's more of an internal rotation here, and then keep your pelvis neutral, and then try to get your rotation at your spine while you rotate inward, breathing in, breathing out. Awesome. Whew. Just kind of have a quick seat, right? Whatever's comfortable for you, sitting on the block if you want. But we're going to open up the neck and open up through the shoulders, right? So right here, spread the collar, lift the collarbone. And you want to think about holding your chin neutral and lifting your chest toward the chin. And you can hold your fingers here and just reach over to one side and get that nice stretch. Now again, never aggressive pulling, please, at the neck. But see right where your jawline is in your chin, you're going to be turning the chin down and up. And right here, so you can get these little muscles right here under the neck, your turning muscles. And just feel where you need to be, hang out. Like if I need to be like in this twist like this, I'm gonna hang out in that stretch. And maybe moving your head a little back and forth while you do a little bobbing there. Beautiful. Okay, so we rise up and we try the other side, and we'll come over, gently, 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 over to the side. And again, right here, the chin, you're gonna be moving your chin side to side, but try to make it your chin and not your eyes, right? And try to hold the shoulder in place so it doesn't follow the chin. So you can really get that good stretch, and then hang out where you feel like you need it more. So on this side, like I feel like I need to turn my chin this way to get a better stretch. On the other side, I felt the other way. So wherever you feel like the chin rotation is where you need the stretch, you're gonna hang out in that place and maybe move your head a little forward back so you can feel, really get the benefit for you, so you can make your practice a personal practice and not just a generic one for everybody. All right. So let's release in the center, circle the shoulders around, get a good rotation. There you go. And then pull the shoulders all the way up, squeeze the head back, and then release down, shake out the neck. So we're gonna work on our breathing. When you guys are ready, just lie down on your back and close your eyes, okay? So you can do this with the legs apart, would be really good. Back nice and relaxed, belly soft, arms out. Chin, it's nice to keep it in a neutral place so your chin is not tucked down, making the neck tighter. And you can place your hands on your belly or let them rest by your side. But just feeling your pelvis neutral, chest neutral, and breathing in and breathing out. So make sure you align your pelvis, align your shoulders, align your hips, the ears. Everything is in a neutral place as you inhale and exhale. So even in this relaxation posture, you want to be aligned. You want your right leg and your left leg aligned, your right hip and your left, the ribs and the shoulders, everything's aligned. Navel's very soft. And as you're in this, you release the shoulders back a little bit deeper, release the head back a little deeper, mouth and jaw relax even more. And as you're relaxing the neck and the shoulders and the jaw, you are inhaling fully and exhaling fully. Inhaling and exhaling. And each time we inhale, we relax the body deeper. Each time we exhale, we soften the belly, sink the head and the shoulders. Eyes relaxed, jaw relaxed, tongue relaxed. As you're practicing your breathing, encouraging more oxygen in the body, encouraging exhaling deeply, getting rid of any used up air or stale air in the body. We smile inwards and keep the body and the mind calm, positive, and optimistic. See if you can get the breath a little deeper into the pelvis and the hips and the low back. And when you feel like it's right, you don't have to do it right now, but when you feel like you're ready, just open your eyes and you can bend your knees and start to encourage the fingers and the toes and the neck and the jaw, and just roll to your side for a little bit before you do come up to seated. So hang out on your side for a few breaths before you do come up to seated. Coming up into seated. All right. Awesome. And sitting, again, either on the block or on the floor, and aligning your hips. Okay, so making that good adjustment to the pelvis to keep a good alignment, good adjustment at the rib cage, at the shoulders, and at the neck. And just take a few moments to have your pelvis strong. Put your tummy on top of the pelvis, your chest on top of the tummy. Put your neck on top of the chest, tummy, and pelvis, and put your head on top of that. And, throughout your day, just check that out as you're maybe walking or sitting. Try to practice it with a good alignment. It's going to feel very, very weird. You just don't want to stiffen your spine. So keep the spine relaxed when you do it, and bring the hands together in front of the heart. Have a really joyful weekend, everybody. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining. And next Saturday is going to be our last Zoom one. If you guys came in late, I'm going to be doing them live outdoors at 7:30 at the track. And it's Tuesday and Thursday, 5:30 p.m. as well at the track.